The 1980s were a special time for North Mesquite football.
Greatest time I had, so I just like to have a little bit of something to remember those years by.
Back then, only the district champion made the playoffs, and the Stallions did that 5 times.
Here's a picture of Joe Bowden, the best football player we ever had, and this was the best running back we ever had, was Brian Gloden.
We were one of the dominant 2 or 3 programs in North Texas, if not the state.
In charge of it all was a very special coach.
I was in awe most of the time working for Coach.
My first scouting report wasn't when I got to the NFL or got to Oklahoma. I had that in high school.
Winning's important. People say, Coach, don't you know it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's how you play the game. Well, that's a bunch of hogwash. It really matters whether you win or lose.
In 12 years, Gary Childress never had a losing season. From 1984 to 88, they won 24 district games in a row.
Program comes first. That was what we believed in.
Childress is the all-time leader in coaching victories in MISD with 97.
Most of my time away from the practice field, away from the coaches, was spent studying film.
Spending hours in the film room was a big part of the preparation that Childress was known for.
But Charlie Qualls was the AD at the time. When he said, you need to understand, you're fixing to go to work for a man that y'all are going to win 2 games every year that you shouldn't win, just based on preparation.
The kids work hard, and the saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think that's true in football more than anywhere else.
That's the one thing about coaching is it's a fight against time, because you got better athletes than I do, but we all got exactly the same amount of time.
During the off-season, much of that time was spent doing mat drills. Soon, coaches from all over Texas began incorporating mat drills into their off-season workouts.
Thought we were maybe ahead of the time on some of the things we did. Most of the state of Texas are doing mat drills that came from coaches coming to see us. We had tons of coaches come to see us in the spring.
Childress had great coaches under him.
Bill Taylor, Price Clifford, Kenny Barnes, Randy Barnes.
They were young, they were hungry, and they worked.
The weekend before we played Highland Park, we were walking up those steps out there about 3:30 in the morning.
And Bill looked at me and said, what have we gotten ourselves into?
That kind of hard work and preparation led to one of the most memorable wins for that coaching staff when they beat Highland Park in 1982.
They had 5 scouts in our press box the first game we played in the season. We opened up with a buck sweep, first game of the year. I'm going to teach those boys not to scout me so early.
First play of the game, Gary would run a buck sweep.
Next game we opened up with a buck sweep.
Running the same play, first play of the game, 7 weeks in a row.
When we opened up against Highland Park, he ran a fake off of that buck sweep.
And Todd Graham is 50 yards down the field, and there's not a player within 30 yards of him. Every player on their Highland Park is over there stopping the buck sweep. Gary scored 21 points on that poor old Highland Park before they knew what happened.
You weren't going to outthink Gary Childress. God's blessed me, but the first blessing was Gary Childress was my mentor, and that changed my life.